So I've talked to a lot of natural building experts, and they all agree you should do this one thing. What's up? Now if you caught us in our last video, this might all look familiar. This is actually the mix we put together to time hand mixing versus the machine. But now with these put together, I don't want this stuff to go to waste. It's good soil, good sand. What I want to do now is actually get these into some bags. For me, this would be a good test to see how this looks once it's in there. Give us some practice with filling the bag, tamping the bag, and seeing how this all goes together. For this purpose, we'll be using some of these. These are some old feed bags that Jessica had the foresight to not throw away, kind of keep on hand. And there's so many different uses for these things, but I'm gonna fill it with dirt. These will be a little smaller than what we're actually be using to build the house, but it'll give us a good idea of how much soil it'll take to about fill a bag, and just the process of getting it filled, getting it tamped, and seeing firsthand what one of these is going to be like. So I'm excited to get some soil in here, but the problem is these mixes have been sitting a while. I'm going to have to mix them up again. I'll probably use the new mixer, get these mixes revitalized, then we can start filling some of these bags. So one thing to be kind of careful about, I noticed with the mixer, the soil will kind of ball up like this. So we're going to have to find a way to just keep that from balling up so much so that there's a much better distribution of water inside the soil. I want to put on these gloves because, especially if there is concrete involved or lime, you don't want to get that on the hands. It'll really start eating away at the hands. Sometimes even just working with the heavy clay soil, it'll really dry out the hands. I'm talking, it'll really dry it out. So I'm just gonna kind of break up these clumps a little bit. I'm gonna start up the machine. Just gonna add a tiny little bit more water. So remember, this is definitely not the preferred way to do it. This is just how I'm gonna do it right now, just because everything is so close. How we'll really want to do it is we'll want to get this mix into a wheelbarrow, take it to where we need it, scoop it up with a coffee can. That person will hand it to the person with the bag. We'll have this hooked up to a stand. We got to build a stand yet, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to be building some of our own tools to help along with this project, and then we'll fill the bag. Once the bag is in place on the stand, it should be right where we need it. So we just unhook it from the stand, lay it down, and keep on going. All right, Jess and I already went through the process of trying to close up one of these. It just kind of folds up like this, sort of like an envelope. And then you use a nail, work your way through the bag. Not every bag's got to get done like this, but I think the ones at the end do. I'm going to take this out, I'm going to tamp it, I'm going to see how it goes. This is always the fun part of the project, getting to tamp it. Tamping's not easy work, and when you think about how much you have to do, it's definitely going to be a workout. I think one thing I didn't do, I got to work some of that material into the corners. I'm going to leave this as it is. I might attach a couple pieces of barbed wire and we'll fill up another bag, lay that on top. Alright, so now that I got my first bag filled and tamped, I'm going to add a little barbed wire And again, this is all just practice, just kind of seeing how all this goes together. There's a technique I saw before. I'm going to see if I can replicate it. In getting the barbed wire to kind of stay put. And it's all about kind of crisscrossing the wires and having the tension work against itself. Because usually when you're laying barbed wire on bags, usually they recommend throwing bricks on top in order to keep it in place. But if you can just maneuver the barbed wire to just hook into the bag, that would save resources and time. It'll maybe save time once we get that figured out. I'm still not an expert practitioner. That looks pretty good. Now let's fill our second bag. So with my beautiful assistant, we're gonna fill up the second bag. So as you can see, we need a lot of soil to fill this up. This bag should be filled probably to 6 inches to the top of the bag. Just gonna demonstrate some expert tamping. So that's 2 bags filled and tamped. Not too happy with this. I think I might even do a couple more bags, fill it up even more. So we decided to build a bench. Actually turn what we're doing here with the bags from a little experiment to a little project. So I found a spot underneath our awning. So I think this might be the best location. It's gonna have to sit for a while and we'll see whether they remain a solid shape, whether it feels like it starts breaking up. I think we'll get a feel for it. That's all this is really. When you start doing natural building, it's not an exact science. You can't necessarily just crunch some numbers, get all your measurements in. It takes a little bit of feel, takes a little bit of practice, and getting the right touch for all the materials. It's gonna be a little tricky. The bees are out. Probably one of the bees from our hive. Must be warm enough for them to kind of go out exploring. Jessica's gonna be doing some work with that. She got some pollen patties. I think she's gonna put that out there for the bees. We'll share the progress on what's going on with the bees. All right, look at who we got out here with us now. I brought Jess out with me. These bags that I already did the other day, we gotta need to get those on top of the ones I just did today. And it's gonna be heavy. I didn't want to do it myself because I don't want to hurt myself. That's why I got Jess out here, so we can hurt ourselves together as a couple. So this is something you want to try and avoid if at all possible, because these bags will get heavy. There's a lot of dirt in there. These things are gonna weigh a lot. That's why I brought her out. We're going to tag team this, and we're going to lift with our legs, getting that up out of there. You ready? Okay, careful. Ooh, I think that's just about perfect right there. Comfiest seat I've ever sat on. Maybe not, but after you've been busting your butt for hours, sitting down in the shade is probably going to be real nice. Want to take a spin on this?
Okay.
How's it feel?
Firm.
That's right, it's firm. No rest for the butt cheeks. We need a firm seat to help keep the butt toned and hard. No soft cushions for these cheeks. Just watch out for the barbed wire sticking out from the bed.
Gotta have really hard cheeks.
We like our seats hard and with covered in barbed wire. That's how hardcore we are out here. Ah! So this was definitely a fun little project to do. Allowed us to get a little better feel for the material. Allowed us to actually put a little something together. As far as earth bags go, testing out how well our soil does without any kind of stabilizer. Something we're very interested in doing. And we'll see how the mix holds up. We'll see how the bags feel, whether they still feel pretty solid. Now, of course, we can't just leave it like this. This is not fully a bench right now. We're gonna make a natural plaster to go over this to kind of finish it off. Then it'll be ready to go. But it's gonna take a little bit. Just a little seat. But that's the thing with a project like this about starting a house. The house is gonna be a huge project. It's gonna be a big undertaking. And all the experts in natural building, they all say the same thing. Start with something small. People looking to get into earth bag building, what advice would you give to people thinking about building with that?
Try something small first if you can.
So if you keep it small and keep it simple, start out with your minimal needs and then you can build as you get experience with the building. You can always add, you can always put out more buildings, but if you actually finish something, it's just like, whew, that's great.
So my advice to everybody is start smaller, and then probably whatever you think that is, start even smaller than that.
Get a feel for the material. Get a feel for how you like working with it. Just test it out before getting into a huge project like starting a house. Because once you get started on that and you find out you don't like it, you hate the process, you hate the material, you know, it's probably never gonna get done. So start small, get your hands in the dirt, just get a feel for it. Then you get rolling on those big projects. But this is one big first step, getting toward that house build, getting our hands dirty.